Now I will be presenting the methods section of my research project. The dataset I used for my project came from ICPSR from the dataset Community Policing in Baltimore, 1986 to 1987. The target population for the sample were residents from 2 Baltimore communities. The individuals who were recruited resided within these 2 communities but were over the age of 18. As for the sampling method, the researchers did not state which sampling method was used, but it does seem to fit as stratified random sampling because there wasn't mention of a multi-stage process, but there wasn't much information on their sampling frame and their sampling strata. As for the data collection, the research appears to fit a longitudinal research design because there were 2 waves of data collection in two different points in time. The first took place in 1986, and the second was a follow-up that took place in 1987. The primary focus of my research will be on the second wave of data. I believe this research was a non-experimental research because the 2 groups were not being assigned for comparative purposes, although the research did use 2 different Baltimore communities. These communities weren't being compared to one another. The data is quantitative because the participants did not provide an explanation for their answers, nor did the researchers ask for an explanation, and the data for this project was collected through a survey. A dependent variable for my project is the effectiveness of community policing, and is being measured by question 4 of the survey. And it's asking whether or not the area has become a better place to live, or if it's gotten worse, or if it's stayed about the same. I have 4 independent variables in total. The first 2 deal with police effectiveness but measure different aspects of it, and the last 2 focus on collective efficacy, but again focus on different aspects of it. The first variable focuses on police contacts, and it's measured by question 12, and it's just asking the residents if they feel that the police have been making enough contact with them. The second variable is calling the police, and it's being measured by question 24. And it's asking the residents if they feel that it's worth the hassle of calling the police, or if they just don't feel the need to call them. My third variable is whether or not the residents help each other out, or if they just don't. And it's being measured by question 7. And it's just asking the residents if they think the area that they live in have people that help each other out, or if it's a place where people just go their own way. My last independent variable is whether or not the residents work together. And it's being measured by question 25, and it's asking if the people in the area work together to solve problems or if they just walk away. The descriptive variables for my project are homeowner or renter, and this variable is important because homeowners tend to have a larger stake in the community as opposed to renters, since renters are free to go as opposed to homeowners, which have a more solid stake in the community. I also am measuring employment status, residence race, respondent sex, and again it's being operationalized through the survey.